All right, thank you so much all for joining me in this session. This is Gurpal Singh from Gursur Education, and today we are going to talk about a very beautiful and very important lecture or topic that is going to be regarding cost functions. Before understanding cost function or this lecture, I hope you would have gone through from all the previous lectures regarding managerial economics, and these are very important. Okay, so if you have a knowledge of a basics like demand, elasticity, utility, revenue, indifference curve, production functions, only then I would suggest to see this specific lecture. And I hope you would have gone through from all these things, and you are very regular student of mine. That thing is believed by me. So in this lecture, we are going to talk about cost functions, and specifically, if I give you the sequence of this lecture, and that is going to be regarding definition of what the cost function is from the point of view of managerial economics and how this is important for us to study. After that, we shall be talking about different types of a cost. I shall tell you regarding the fixed cost, then average cost, then the short run cost curves, then long run cost curve, the average cost curves, all these things we shall be studying. Specifically, why are the cost curves U-shaped? That these kind of questions we shall also try to answer in this specific lecture. And finally, and most importantly, we are going to cover the different theories regarding cost function, and these are going to be the traditional theories and modern theories, because these are categorized into only two parts, like traditional and modern theories. So I hope you would have got and understood completely the structure of this specific lecture, what we are going to cover in this session. So I hope you would have enjoyed this a lot. Now just going to share the screen and make you all see what we have prepared for you. So just to see and enjoy this lecture. All right, so now I believe that you would be watching the screen for the cost concepts, and in this video lecture we shall be talking about all these things regarding cost, what is the meaning of cost, and I shall tell you what are the different kinds of cost you have to understand, and the different curves as well, because on the basis of a curve as well you can go further. Before starting this lecture, I must tell you that as I have already explained in the beginning of this video, that you must possess the basic knowledge regarding all the previous chapters. Only then you shall be able to understand this concept further. And if you understand this concept, then only then you shall be able to understand regarding the different market structure, whether this is perfect competition or imperfect competition in the market. So just talking about the cost analysis is not that difficult to understand, because you have understood regarding the production function in detail, which regarding which the video lecture has already been delivered to you. You have understood regarding production function, and understanding this was not difficult, because production function had its base from revenue concept and indifference curve analysis. Okay, so indifferent curve analysis, and this was the basis for production function. And this base we are making the further concept on the basis of production function, and this is going to be regarding cost function. So basically I mean to say that you shall be able to understand cost function only if you have understood regarding the production function, because in production function we talked about total product, we talked about average product, we talked about marginal product. In the same way, we shall be talking about total cost, then we shall be talking about fixed cost, we shall be talking about average cost, we shall be talking about marginal costs as well. And their structure is exactly similar. What is the product and revenue part was there. But the only difference is in revenue, we talk about our personal or the organizational earnings. But when we talk about a concept, cost concept, then we talk about the total expenditure the firm has to do in different time periods. So again, I hope you would have understood the structure of how we are going to cover all these things. And secondly, we shall be going through some theories of a cost concept, and these theories are divided into two time period. The first is short run time period, and the second one is long run time period, and these are not difficult to comprehend. Okay, the reason is I have already explained you regarding short run and long run concept in the production function as well. In case of a short run, only few uh, inputs are variable, other inputs are fixed. Okay, so this is why there are two kind of costs in case of a short run, but in case of long run there are all the inputs in the variable format, so that you can change these in any way. So these affect the costs as well. Why I have given you all these description and the things which have I already explained you, why I am talking about all these again and again. The only thing is that because from now whatever the slides I am going to show you, I shall be talking number of things which we have already covered in the previous lectures. So I think that was just a quick reminder of what we have already studied. So now just going to move further, and this is going to be the first slide, and it tells you what cost is. Cost basically means the money expenses incurred by a firm in production process. So firm has to incur the cost in purchasing different kind of inputs so that they can produce the output and they can sell this output in the market. Okay, but in economics, cost include imputed value of entrepreneurs' own resources and services, as well as a salary of the owned manager. So these all things are included in the definition of a cost. Basically, this is the expenses incurred by the firm on acquiring of different kind of a production input so that the output can be obtained and that can be sold in the market. So in order to gain the revenue. Okay, so I hope you would have understood that. So there are different kind of costs which we have to go through. The first shall be the fixed cost, the second shall be variable cost, and then there shall be total cost. Then we shall be studying about average cost. Then we shall be studying about marginal cost, and these are five kind of costs which you have to understand in the complete cost concept structure. So first of all, before studying all these five concepts, you have to divide the theories of a cost into two parts that I have already told you, on the basis of a short run and on the basis of a long run. Okay, moreover, these are divided into two further differentiation, like the traditional theory of a cost and the modern theory of cost. You can make their diagram in this way: traditional theory of a cost and modern theory of cost. Traditional theories of cost includes the short run cost curves and long run cost curves. In the same way, the modern theories also includes short run cost curves and long run cost curve. The only difference between short run, the traditional and the modern theories is this, that the traditional theories assume that the cost curves are usually U-shaped, but the modern theories assume that the curves are, the cost curve was usually L-shaped. Okay, so this is the only difference. Otherwise, we have to understand all the short run and long run concept and defined under the different theories of cost, and these theories are traditional and modern theories. This can further be bifurcated into two parts, which I have already written here clearly. Now just going to tell you regarding short run cost curves under traditional method, and one by one we shall be studying all these things. So talking about the short run system. Okay, so when we talk about the short run is a period in which the firm cannot change its plant equipment and scale of organization. So first of all, I have to tell you, in the short run, only few inputs are in variable nature and other are fixed. You are not in a position to change your fixed inputs. Okay, so when we talk about traditional theory of a cost, it analyze the behavior of cost curves in short run and long run and arrive at the conclusion that both the curves are U-shaped. So traditional theory of a cost just just make the conclusion that any kind of a cost curve is a U-shaped curve, whether this is average cost, whether this is total cost, whether this is marginal cost, these things. These cost curves are U-shaped in case of a traditional theory. So the definition of short run, you already know. Short run is the short period in which you are not in a position to change your input levels. And in case you are not able to change your input levels, that is known as in that case, the law of variable proportion applies, which I have already explained in detail in the previous lecture regarding production function. So in case of short run, only the law of variable proportion applies. So now I'm going to explain you one by one all the cost curves covered under the short run. The first is a fixed cost. It remains fixed. Okay. So these are like salary of the employees. Okay. You have to pay that. Sometime rent you have to pay that. Uh, this is not going to be changed in the near future. Okay. So fixed inputs are called total cost of a fixed input are called total fixed cost, and its curve remains straight parallel to OX axis. So this is OX axis. So this is total fixed cost curve. That tells you that whatever the unit of output you produce, it always remains fixed. This is why this is parallel to OX axis, and this is known as fixed cost in the short run. Then this is total variable cost. What is this? These are known as the direct cost, which can vary. Okay, so whatever the production you are making, for example, electricity, whatever the units you are consuming, on the basis of that, your bill shall be issued to you. Okay, so these kind of cost are known as a variable cost. These are a direct cost. These are regarding variable factor. This is why their curve is like that. Okay, so whatever the production you are making, their cost shall be like this. It shall vary like this. Okay, so when you are producing zero output, that variable cost shall be zero, and as long as you are increasing your production, then your total variable cost shall also increases. So this is the curve regarding the total variable cost. Okay, so when we are talking about total cost, this is just the total of total fixed cost plus total variable cost. When you add fixed cost and variable cost, then whatever the value you arrive at, that value is known as your total cost. Okay, so total cost is cost of all the resources necessary to produce any particular level of output. So when you make sum of these two, you get total cost, and its curve can be simple like that. So here in this figure or in this diagram or graph, the relationship between the three things like total fixed cost, then total variable cost, and total cost has been given. Okay, you can easily see that. So the red colored line specifies the total fixed cost. It tells that this is parallel to OX axis. That means it always remains fixed. Total variable cost is starting from this point, and it's moving upward as you are producing more and more. And total cost is just plus of total variable cost and fixed cost, and it starts from this level and it increases in this way, and it is the sum or sum of both these kind of cost. So I hope you would have got idea regarding what the total cost, total variable cost, and total fixed cost is. So moving further, we have to talk about average fixed cost. What is average fixed cost? When you divide the total fixed cost by the units of output, then whatever you get is known as your average fixed cost. Okay, so this is your average fixed cost. In the same way, when you divide your total variable cost with the units of output, so whatever you get is known as your average variable cost. So I have given you information regarding average fixed cost and average variable cost. I hope you would have understood these two, because on the basis of these two, you shall be able to find the average cost. So what is average cost? This is just the total of average fixed cost and average variable cost. When you sum these two, you just get the total of average cost. So the shape of average cost curve is usually U-shaped. So basically this is the thing for which we are studying everything. So when you plot the average cost curve, this gives us U-shaped curve in a graph. So this is the relationship between all these. And first of all, before going through all these, I would like to tell the relationship between the average cost, average variable cost, and average fixed cost. Average fixed cost is always below all the costs, okay, all these two costs. Average variable cost is just above the average fixed cost, and average cost is the total of average fixed cost and average variable cost. This is why this is above the both the cost curves. So this is, we can simply write here like. So now I hope you would have understood this completely. Now it would be easy for you to understand this table. You can see here are the units of output, and these are increasing like 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and fixed cost always remains same irrespective of the units of output. So this is 100, 100, 100, 100. So whether you are producing 20 or you are producing 70, fixed cost always remains same, and that is 100 rupee. And after that, we have to understand regarding total variable cost. When output is 0, then total variable cost shall be 0. And as the output is increasing, the total variable cost shall also increase. Okay, so this is here you can see that this is increasing 100, 120, 230, 260. So all these rows are representing, this specific column is representing the values of total variable cost at a different level of outputs. And when you sum these two, you get the total cost, and this has been given in the column named total cost. So this is just the sum of a fixed cost plus variable cost. Okay, so you, in this way you can find these two. And when you divide this total cost by units of output, you get the average cost. This is how you get the average cost. So this is the way you can get your average cost, and this is simple to be find out. So I hope you would have got some idea regarding the relationship between these two. So now, why is the reason that the short run average cost is U-shaped? The only reason is the law of variable proportions, which we have already understood under the concept of a production function. So it just tells you that there are number of inputs, and only few inputs are of a variable nature and the other inputs are of a fixed nature. You can change only the inputs which are of a variable nature. Okay, when you are changing these, then you can ultimately make the changes in output, and relatively there is the change in your cost structure. This is why the curves, the cost curves are U-shaped. Okay, because first of all, by using additional units of variable input, you can reduce your cost, and after that it becomes constant, and ultimately it starts increasing. This is why this becomes the U-shaped curve. So I hope you would have got the idea why these are U-shaped curves. So after that, we have to talk about the marginal cost curve under the short run. Marginal cost, I have taught you the word marginal number of times. Okay, so what is this? This is just the addition to the total cost by producing an additional unit of output. Okay, so when you are suppose by using some specific inputs, you are incurring 100 rupee. Okay, by producing some one more unit, you are incurring 105 rupee as a cost. So this addition of a 5 rupee in the total cost shall be your marginal cost. So it just says you that marginal cost is the addition to the total cost by producing an additional unit of output. So its formula is delta TC divided by delta Q. That is change in the total cost divided by change in the quantity. So this is also U-shaped. Okay. So here in this figure, the relationship between AC, that is average cost, and MC, this is marginal cost. This has been given. So this table you would be able to understand only if you have gone through from the production function a relationship between TP, AP and MP. Because if you have understood these three relationships only, then this shall become somewhat easy for you to understand. So AC is here, okay. So this is average cost curve. This is U-shaped. MC starts below the AC, and at the point where AC is minimum, MC cuts it, okay. And after that, MC starts increasing, and AC starts also increasing, but this is below MC after that point. So when MC is lesser than AC, then AC falls. This is the first relationship between average cost and marginal cost. The second relationship is MC and AC are always equal at the point where AC is constant and its minimum point. And after that, when MC is greater than AC, then AC starts rising. So this is the concept or the relationship between AC and MC. You can see from the figures that they both are U-shaped curves. So this is why it is said that they are U-shaped curves, and we have to understand these in this way. So that was all the information. I think that was regarding the short run cost functions. I have taught you till now number of things, like what's the meaning of fixed cost. Then we studied regarding variable cost. Then we studied regarding the total cost. Then I taught you regarding average fixed cost. Then I taught you regarding average variable cost. Then I taught you average cost, and finally we studied regarding marginal cost. So that was all the study under the short run curves covered under the traditional method. What does traditional method says you? It just tells you that average cost, marginal cost and total cost, these three costs are U-shaped cost. So this is all about that. So when we are talking about long run cost curve under the traditional theory, this that refers to the law of returns to scale, okay. So why this is the case? Because there is no fixed factor in the long run. All the inputs are of a variable nature. That ultimately means you can change any input to desired extent, and if you change that, you can easily uh, you can easily make your cost to the minimum level. So this is all about that, okay. In the long run, all the elements, all the inputs are of a variable nature, and you can change, firm can change its size, scale of a plant and employ more or less input, so they can do whatever they want, because all factors are variable, all costs are variable. So this is all about that. So how does they work? Okay, so in the same way, like we have studied regarding short run cost curves, we have to study regarding long run cost curves as well. So what is long run cost curve? These are just the cost curves, okay, which are covering all the short run cost curves, okay. So long run, so basically we have to study only three kind of curves right now. These are average cost curve, marginal cost curve and total cost curve. We should be concerned about these three things now only, okay. So long run average total cost or LAC curve of the firm show the minimum average cost of producing various levels of output from all possible short run average cost curves. So this just tell you that if there are different number of short run average cost curves, then on the basis of these cost curve, you can find the long run average cost curve, okay. So thus the LAC or the long range average cost curve is derived from SAC curves, okay. So from different curves you can find that easily. So if I just show you, you can see here, okay, see here clearly. So this is LRAC, okay. So this is long run average cost curve, okay. So this is long run average cost curve. You can see that if there are different short run average cost curve, these are all being covered by long run average cost curve. So long run average cost curve is flatter than the short run average cost curve. So you can see that all the short run average cost curves are tangent to long run average cost curve. So in this way, we can simply say that on the basis of a short run average cost curves, we can easily derive the value of a long run average cost curve. So this is just the sum of all the short run average cost curves. So I hope you would have got the idea regarding that. Same is the case for a total cost curve. Okay, so in the long run, there is no concept of fixed factor. That is why LTC cannot be divided into fixed cost and variable cost. Okay, in the long run, total cost is the minimum cost at which each level of output can be produced. So it again covers all the short run total cost. The long run total cost curve shows all the minimum cost point of a short period. Okay, so here you can see, I know that this is somewhat blur, but you can see that this is a long run total cost curve. Okay, and this is covering the different kinds of a short run total cost curves. Like this is STC1, this is STC2, this is STC3, and this is STC4. So they are all tangent. So we can say that from the short run total cost curves, different curves, we can easily find the long run total cost curve as well. So this is how you can derive that. Okay, so it's just says why this is happening, why the long run total cost curves are more flatter than the short run average cost curve. The only reason is that these do not have any kind of a fixed proportion, so they are more flatter. Okay, because they have all the inputs as of variable nature, and only the law of return to scale applies in case of a long run situation. So I have taught you regarding total cost curves and average cost curve. Now, if we are talking about marginal cost curve, this is also U-shaped curve. Okay, and the concept is all same, but this is just a flatter than the short run average cost curve. You can see here. So this is the average cost curve. This is the average cost curve, which is covering all the short run average cost curves, and this is long run marginal cost curve. This concept is exactly same what we have studied under short run average cost curve. The only difference is, again, you can see that the LMC is more flatter, and this is also cutting. All the things are again same. Like long run average cost curve is higher than marginal cost curve, and marginal cost curve is rising at the point when LAC is minimum. The LMC is cutting that, and after that it's increasing, and LAC is also starting increasing. So this is the relationship. Again, this is same as what we have already studied, but the only thing is that all the short run average curves or total curves or the marginal curves, these can be covered by long run total cost curves. So I hope you would have got the complete idea of all these things. You can see again that even if this is the case of long run situation, you can see that these are U-shaped curves. Okay, although these are flattened, but still these are making some kind of U shapes. So that was all regarding traditional theory. I hope you would have understood what I wish to teach you in this lecture, and genuinely talking to you that if you have gone through from the production functions and revenue concept, only then you shall be able to comprehend the concept regarding all these things. Then if we are talking, so the long run average cost curve is also known as planning curve. Okay, so this is also known as planning curve. Why? Because it can contain all the short run average cost curves. Okay, so it can include all the short run average cost curve, and it gives you the maximum opportunity and time for adjusting your plants or inputs in a way that your cost becomes very minimum. So planning curve can be another term for long run average cost curves. Using name planning curve indicate that the long term average cost curve is used to make plans, especially concerning the desired scale of operation. So you can reduce your cost in the long run with the help of a long run average cost curves. So this is all about that. So only the important thing here was the shape of the different kind of curves, and in case of traditional method, these are U-shaped curves. Now we are talking about modern theory of a coast. The only difference is that this differs with regard to the shape of a coast curves only. Okay, so in the modern theory, which is based on empirical evidences, the short run average coast curve and SMC curves coincide with each other. Okay, and they gives the horizontal line wide range of output. But in case of these kind of theories, so far as the LAC and MAC, LMC curves are concerned, they are L-shaped rather than U-shaped. So they just tell you that the coast curves are uh, L-shaped, and they are L-shaped basically. Okay, in case of a modern theory of a coast, which I am going to tell you right now. So in case again the modern theory, there the coast can be divided into two parts. The first are short run coast and second one are long run coast. Okay, short run coast, if we are talking about again short run, if we are talking about short run average cost, then this is the sum of average variable cost and average fixed cost. Okay, so now you can see here the average fixed cost is will be having the shape of a rectangular hyperbola in the case of modern theory of coast. Okay, so this is having the shape of a rectangular hyperbola. This is the shape of average fixed cost in case uh, of short run cost curves. And I must tell you one thing, I genuinely believe that now giving the definition of AFC is not required here, because this is just the fixed cost divided by the quantity or output. Okay, and that gives you the average fixed cost. And again I'm not going to repeat that, because I believe that you have opened your brain when you are watching and you are listening to this video lecture. So next, if we are talking, this is average variable cost. You can see that this is the kind of shape. So this is like that, and after that it becomes somewhat straight, somewhat kind of this is making. Okay, and after that it again rising, and this has the more stretch than the traditional theories. Okay, this has the flat stretch. And why this flat stretch is there? This representing to the reserve capacity of the firm. Okay, so this is so this stretch, so this the wider stretch. Okay, wider stretch of average variable cost curve is just representing that the firm is having the more reserve capacity which it can use wherever possible, and they can take benefit from that. And then when we are talking about the average total cost curve, and all these figures have been shown now here. Okay, so all these things have been shown in just one figure. The below figure is average fixed cost curve. The middle figure is average variable cost curve, which I have already explained. This is the marginal cost curve. Okay, so that is somewhere equal to uh, average average variable cost curve. Okay, so in case of modern theory, it is said that the short run average variable cost curves becomes equal to marginal cost curves in this case. So these becomes equal and they remains constant to some extent. After that MC starts rising, and as the average total cost is the plus of average fixed cost and average variable cost, this is why it remains above all the curves of the coast. So this is the description of modern theory of cost, and this is regarding short run cost curve analysis. And the next are not that much important. Never these have been asked in the examination. That's why we have not included their cost curve. And just only thing Here is necessary to tell you that these are that this is the period, long run cost curve modern theory. This is the period in which all the costs are of a variable nature, and the law of return to scale applies, which we have studied under the concept of a production function. So in this case, all the costs are exactly similar as what we have already understood in this figure. The only difference is that they are more flatter, even more flatter than these, and they cover all these figures. Do you remember? I have already told you in the traditional theory that the long run average cost curves covers all the short run average cost curve, and same is the case in the modern theory as well. If we are talking about the long run cost curves, they cover all the short run average cost curves under the modern theory. Okay, but only two things we have to remember, that the long run cost curves can be distributed into two parts. The first is production cost and the second is managerial cost. Okay, what is production cost? Production cost, they just sharply they just fall sharply to begin with, and then gradually, as the scale of a production increases. So whenever you increase your production, these costs starts falling sharply. Okay, and why this happens? This happens just due to economies of scale, economies of scale. And this is why it makes the curves L-shaped. Okay, the L shape of a production cost curve is explained by technical economies of large scale. This is why these makes the L-shaped curve, and these are more flattered than short run cost curves. And finally, this is marginal managerial cost curves. These are just the planning costs. Like in the modern management science, for each plant size there is corresponding administrative setup for which you have to incur the cost, and these costs are known as managerial cost. And these also becomes a reason why the costs under the modern theory are more flatter than the traditional theories. So they make the ultimately L-shaped curves. So in this way, I think that was all needed from the point of view of our examination. Nothing is necessary to go through further. Why I am teaching all these things to you? Because number of things have never been asked, but still I wish that your concepts are very clear. The only reason being that from now onwards we have to start the different market structures like perfect competition. Then I have to teach you regarding imperfect competition, which covers the monopoly and monopolistic competition. And you shall be able to understand all these concepts only if you have the prior knowledge regarding all the previous managerial economics concepts. So I think the cost concept was last. After that, we shall be starting regarding the different marketing structures. You have to understand all these things. So I hope that you are watching all the videos and you are going through whatever I am teaching to you, and you are enjoying these a lot. If you are enjoying only, then you can expect that your exam can be qualified. Thank you so much for joining me in this lecture. This is Gurpal Singh from Gurpal Education.